Well, welcome. I call the first meeting of the Property Tax and Local Taxes Division to order. We do have a quorum, and good afternoon and welcome. It's great to see so many people here. I know a few people are still trying to find their way around the building. We've got a lot of new staff and a lot of new members to help with this. And I'm looking forward to working with and learning from all of you as we address local government finance issues. And I think we're all privileged to be on this committee because the work of this committee impacts every resident, every citizen, and throughout the state and every community in Minnesota. Everyone lives in a county and in a school district, and also within either a city, a township, or unorganized territory. And the work that we do here together will influence all of those important local levels of government. And so the work that we do together is going to address a long list of areas of responsibility. We'll define the property tax base of communities throughout the state. We'll establish the basis on which individual property tax bills are determined for homes, apartments, and businesses. We'll define the property tax refund programs that help people of modest and low income afford those responsibilities. Will play a significant role in, not the only role, but a significant role in deciding how much funds are available to our cities, our counties, our school districts, our townships, and other local governments. We're going to seek to balance the disparities between the communities of the state. We'll consider general and unique circumstances related to development finance, and we'll review local option sales tax proposals. So we've got a lot of responsibility here in a lot of different areas, and I know we're going to all bring our best to this work, and I think people are often surprised at how often we come to consensus on all kinds of things, but we will also have some respectful and lively debates, and hopefully some fun and some good times in this committee as well. I'm honored to be chairing this committee and guiding its work, and I'm delighted that I'll be helped by Representative Vang, who is the vice chair of our committee, and welcome to your first committee meeting as vice chair. We have a House tradition that all of us who are returning know that whenever a freshman first presents their bill to a committee that they haven't appeared before, that they're supposed to bring treats. And I decided to expand that and say that as my first meeting as chair of this committee, I would bring some clementines because I know a few people are running from meetings where they didn't have a chance to have lunch, and this might help you sustain your energy through the overview ahead. So if the page wouldn't mind passing around the green bowl and the napkins, we'll let people have a snack while we move along. And we're going to start our overview shortly, but I thought we'd start first with the introductions of the legislative members. And we're also thinking about what we might share that would be useful as we start to get to know each other in the committee's work. I thought we'd start with saying your name, the communities that you represent, the types of properties that you represent, the types, ag land, forest land, homes, apartments, industry, whatever, because we're going to be dealing with all those different types of properties, and whether or not you've served on this committee before or as a local elected official. And so basically it's name, communities, types of properties, and whether or not you've been on the committee or a local official. And I thought I'd start out with that. I'm Representative Diane Loeffler, and I have the honor of representing 15 neighborhoods in northeast and northern southeast Minneapolis. And for those of you who aren't very familiar with city life, neighborhoods are like small towns. They each have their own neighborhood organization. They oftentimes have a small main street with a variety of businesses on it. They have their own unique challenges and sometimes even their own unique politics. And within my community, I have, I think, almost every type of property tax classification that will come before this community, or this committee. I have a lot of modest single-family homes. Over half the housing in my district is multifamily or rental. I have, a lot of them are turn-of-the-century duplexes. We don't have the big skyscraping apartments that you might see in some other parts of Minneapolis. a lot of small businesses and small shops. We have large industrial areas and industrial property scattered amongst our neighborhoods, residential neighborhoods. I have a huge railroad yard. I have an electric utility from Excel. And I have a couple of small urban farms that I suspect some of you might call large gardens, but they're called urban farms in our community. So there's nothing too fancy, but it's home to a lot of good people and both small and large businesses. And I've served on this committee for a number of years, but I've not served in local elected office. And I thought next we'd hear from Representative Hertas, who is the Republican lead this year on the committee, and hear a little bit about him, and welcome.
Well, thank you, Chair Loeffler, and congratulations on your chairmanship of this committee. And members, I'm Jerry Hertas. I represent 33A, which is the western part of Hennepin County. Geographically, it's about 36 to 40% of Hennepin County. I've spent my career before the legislature in new home construction, in real estate development, and have concentrated my life in and around real estate, so I think that I am able to bring some perspectives that many folks maybe don't have with regard to property and property taxes. The district that I represent is unique in that it's the rural part of Hennepin County, yet it also has probably the highest taxpayers of a residential property in the entire state of Minnesota. Some of my constituents are paying $250,000 of property taxes on their residential home in Hennepin County. So that's quite a stark contrast. I would like to remind everybody that I think this is one of the more bipartisan committees. I've served on this committee, as I mentioned, since I arrived at the legislature, and I think it's important to understand that unlike a tax committee, which oftentimes focuses on income taxes and progressive taxes, when it comes to owning property in Minnesota, it does not distinguish your ability to pay those property taxes. The general presumption is that if you own an expensive property, that you have the means to support that, but that's not always true. And Representative Marquardt and other members of the DFL, we worked together on getting a lot of legislation passed this last biennium that unfortunately was not successful in a tax bill. And I've already reached out to Representative Marquardt and Chair Loeffler about reintroducing much of what we accomplished last year and to see if we can get some of the reforms that are necessary. And so with that, I'm honored to be the lead on our tax committee here this session, and turn the table to the rest of the members on this side.
Representative Bernardi.
On this side of the testifying, or the table.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm Connie Bernardi. I've served in the Minnesota House for, this is my 7th term. I served on tax committee for 3 terms in my beginning of my legislative career. And that was a day when Ventura was here, and it ended up being a third. So we saw everything in the tax committee as a possibility for different tax changes. My community is New Brighton, Fridley, and Spring Lake Park. I have different needs throughout my community. One that is the most, some have it harder than others, and when it comes to is paying for our schools. So when we talk about equalization aid and those kinds of things, when we talk about taxes, we often think of rural Minnesota, and but there are suburbs that have very low property wealth and industrial industry and those sorts of things. So like Fridley School District is in the center of the city of Fridley. The northern tax base that has industrial is to the north for a different school district, where the industrial is from the south is to a different school district. So anyway, that's one of the areas of property taxes I'm super interested in.
Great. Representative Dryskowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Steve Dryskowski, and I was actually chair of this committee for each of the last 2 biennia, and worked with Representative and now Chair Loeffler in that capacity, and look forward to the next 2 years with a kind of a reciprocal structure, but still a very solid relationship going forward. And while Representative Hertaus, I need to point out, serves as the Republican lead of one of the House caucuses, I am the Republican lead on the new House Republican caucus for this committee. So thought that might be helpful for people. I come from the counties of, I represent the counties of, portions of the counties of Wabasha, Winona, Goodhue, and a smidgen of Dodge County. About half of my district is rural, is townships, farms. About the other half of the population comes from small towns. We like to call them towns. Some of them are cities. I'm just seeing Ms. Dalton smile. 853 cities in the state of Minnesota, if you add them all up. So about half of the population comes from small towns as well, and I think the largest town is about population of about 4,300 people. So I don't have a single town or city over 5,000. So by the way, was able to author the bill to give cities under 5,000 some of the same aid that the cities over 5,000 get for transportation. Self-interest sometimes comes to bear. And I think Representative Marquardt and others are in kind of the same boat, and it was a good move as well. The area that I'm interested in continuing to pursue, and Tax Chair Marquardt and I worked in the last 2 biennia on trying to bring some fairness to farm families who are paying an exorbitant amount of property tax for the school construction levies. They at one point were paying 10 times as much as their city cousins in town. Now with the one change we made, they're paying about 6 times as much as their city cousins. But I still believe that it's not really right or fair for one group of people who receive essentially the very same services and education to be paying 6 times as much, while the referendums are being voted for largely by people who are paying 1/6 as much. So that's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, thank you, Representative Drazkowski, and because of your leadership in that, I appreciate it. But we're going to all have a chance to share our agendas going forward. So to get to the overview, I think we're going to try and keep it to the 4 things as we move ahead. But thank you, and Representative Runbeck, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be quicker. Linda Runbeck is my name, District 38A. It's suburban Anoka County and Washington County district. The largest cities are Lino Lakes and Hugo, both of which are in fairly rapid development. I would call them still, though, all of these pretty much bedroom communities. You know, they're hoping, I guess, for more commercial and industrial, but it doesn't seem to, you know, they have to work at it. So there's still a lot of room to go, which means that a number of the communities are recipients of fiscal disparities, very dependent on it. You know, and we can debate fiscal disparities, but we won't do that today. It does serve a purpose in equalizing the burden, but you'd like to see, you know, maybe more emphasis placed on, you know, being aggressive and getting businesses out our way. And I was first elected to the Circle Pines City Council 30 years ago, something like that, a long time ago. And I have been in the legislature for 20 years, but non-consecutive. So there was 10 years between my work in the Senate and then work in the House. So I've served on a lot of committees. I did chair this committee in a very volatile year of 11 and 12. So it was a pretty fascinating trial by fire in that year when there was a budget shortfall and so on. But looking forward to sort of, I've taken time off of this committee, kind of looking forward to a new perspective on it and working with everyone. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Representative Petersburg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is John Petersburg. I represent south of here, Old Town of Waseca, 24A. Whereas it's mostly agricultural based in regards to actual geographical area, about two-thirds, a little over, that live in the 2 towns. Owatonna being much more with an industrial base, with Federated Insurance being the largest business in town, followed by Viracon and Truth Tool, which are heavily involved in building trades and so forth. Waseca is struggling with its industrial base a little bit, but they're both are very good communities. I have served on the local school boards for 10 years down in that area, and prior to this, I have been on the tax committee for the last 2 terms. I've never been on property tax, but I'm looking forward to that aspect of it as well, and I'll turn it over.
Thank you. Representative McDonald, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Joe McDonald. My nickname is Old McDonald. It's okay to call me that. You can even sing it if you like. Thank you, Chair, for the Clementines. They were probably the best Clementine I've had in a long time. This is my 4th term. I was elected in 2000. I served in 2011-12 was the first term. From the city of Delano, District 29A, represent Wright County, majority of farm community and bedroom communities. I live in the city of Delano. It's the biggest city in my community with 5,464. Let's see, properties I represent, a lot of farmland, residential, some industry. I'm proud to be a property tax payer. I own a house and a 100-year-old old studio building, photography studio that my wife and I have in downtown Delano. So I'm very familiar with paying property tax, residential and commercial. I served as the city council member and mayor of the Delano before I was elected here in the year 2010. And I was on this committee with Chair Draz Skowski as the chairman. I look forward to this committee. I think the chair will be do a fabulous job, and it's a great committee, and we can certainly do a lot of good for our communities. I know the city of Delano and the county of Wright property taxes are a big issue, especially with these school referendums. Delano passed a $65 million referendum 4 years ago, and the property tax payers I hear often, as one who pays it as well, we are very aware and acute of the cost of and high cost of property tax to our districts. So I hope that we can get some. No, I'm confident that we'll get some good reforms here for our residents in Minnesota.
Well, thank you, Representative McDonald. I think we're going to let Representative Huot just settle in while we're doing introductions. You'll get the rhythm as we go around the table. And turn over to this side, Representative Vang.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am Representative Vang. I represent 40B. This was former Representative Deb Hillstrom's seat, Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park. And I'm honored to be here, to be designated as Vice Chair of Property Taxes, and I look forward to working with you all. This is also my first term here, and the community that I represent are mostly single-family homes. Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park are considered like bedroom communities, and I also represent a bit of commercial properties there, some restaurants, car dealerships, and a bit of mall area in that area. And yeah, and I keep it short, so thank you.
Thank you. Representative Carlson, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Andrew Carlson. This is my 2nd term serving on the Property Tax Division, so glad to be here again. And seeing some familiar faces as well, some new faces as well. So I represent Bloomington. Bloomington is unique with regards to a couple of tax-related considerations. First of all, we have the Mall of America, which is a huge contributor to our local tax base. 60% of Bloomington's tax base is commercial industrial, which is unique. Most common suburban communities is a 30-70 split, so that is a great way to kind of offset. Provides a balance depending on how the economy is going in terms of how property taxes are being evaluated. So it's kind of a unique aspect that was brought to my attention when I served on the Bloomington City Council. The residential portion of Bloomington, 60% of that is multifamily housing. Bloomington is a fully developed community. When we talk about development, we talk about redevelopment. Something has to go away before something new can be built. And that has a net increase in the cost of land, of cost of providing for that. So that does lead to the increase in density. So I come from a municipal background and hope to share some of those insights as well. And looking forward to working with you all.
Great. Thank you. Representative John, welcome.
Hi, Madam Chair. Thank you. It's a privilege to be here in this committee and also to be part of this institution. My name is Tu Zhang. I represent 53A. the cities of Maplewood, Oakdale, Woodbury, and Landfall. 3M is in my district. Their headquarters is there, and they are a big part of our community. I've been a Maplewood City Council member for the past 3 years and came from the city of Maplewood. My district is a suburban area. 98% of the city of Maplewood is completely developed, and so working a lot on redevelopment in that city. Woodbury is the eighth largest city here in the state of Minnesota. And so I hope to bring some of my municipality experience to this committee and hope to work with all of you. Thank you.
All right. Representative Marquardt, Chair of the Tax Committee, to which we will report.
Very good. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm Paul Marquardt, and this is my 10th term, and represent District 4B, and I think I have a district very similar to Representative Drazkowski's, where about 50% live in the townships, another 50% in the cities and towns. And it's a pretty good mix of agricultural, residential, but also commercial and industrial. And so, yeah, so I think I'm one of the 3 former property tax chairs here that, with Representative Runbeck and Representative Drazkowski. So looking forward to the year. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great. Welcome, and welcome, Representative Herrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So my name is Kali Her, and the communities that I represent, I'm actually 64A. It's Aaron Murphy's old seat in the city of St. Paul. My district runs along the corridor of Grand Avenue and Summit Avenue, and I have neighborhoods. I don't know if that's significant to maybe if everybody's familiar with those neighborhoods, but it's Crocus Hill, Mac Groveland, Lexham neighborhood, St. Anthony Park, and Miriam Park areas. And the properties that make up my area are mostly residential, older homes. There are very few new builds in that area, and we have just a really small area that is commercial. I have never been on the property tax committee before because I'm a first-termer, so this is my first time being a part of this. I do work for the city of St. Paul and have had the opportunity to really dive into LGA, property taxes, how we generate revenue and what we do with those revenues, and so I'm really excited to sort of see, to be a part of this committee and sort of see how this work dovetails with the work that we're doing in the city of St. Paul as well. And I have a lot to learn, but I'm a data nerd and I'm a numbers nerd, and so this is really exciting for me to be a part of this.
Great. Welcome, and Representative Huot.
I'm John Hewitt, representing 57B, which makes up Rosemount, Apple Valley, and Coates. Most of my district is the northern part of Apple Valley, which also includes the zoo. It's pretty much developed into single-family housing. Rosemount is open for business, though. They have really hit the local developers and a lot of single-family developments going in there. It also has the Umore property, which they're looking at doing a lot of residential development. We're also home to Flint Hills Resources, which takes up a lot of property in the area. And I am definitely looking forward to being here. I apologize for my tardiness. I work in EMS. That's my background, is emergency medical services, but I'm also a realtor. So I'm looking forward to diving in here on the committee. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, as you can tell, we have a lot of diverse backgrounds that I think will help us as we put together policies for our diverse state. And the tradition has been when we get to serious decision-making, sometimes people prefer to sit by party, but I would really encourage you to use these early meetings to do what we've seen people do today, which is mix it up, get to know, change around who you're sitting next to, get to know them in these early hearings, because it's really fun to get to know fellow legislators and compare ideas as we move ahead. We are really lucky because we have an incredible amount of really bright staff to help us with our work and with our assistance. Some have been long admired for their expertise, and those of us who've been on the committee before are just in awe. But we've had some retirements and we have some changeover, which is really typical. And so we have some really new people as well on our team and who are going to be stepping up to help us. And so we're just going to have to be patient with all of us as we're learning and developing and moving forward. Our committee staff this year, we're really lucky to have Nathan Jessen as our committee administrator. Some of you might recognize him who've been on the committee before because he was oftentimes in the audience and sometimes providing information as a staff member of the Department of Revenue. So he brings some really useful knowledge about our tax system to us, and he'll also be staffing the full tax committee as well. And our committee legislative assistant is Ellen Larson, who's on her 5th day of work for us. And but watching her put together this committee and what we needed to do to get going, I know she's going to do a great job. Our final page assignments for the committee will be made next week. So we have a couple of great people stepping in today, but we'll see what the final shakeout is on those and make sure that you know who our permanent pages are. We also have a tradition in the legislature of having partisan research staff to help the members of each caucus with their research. And we have on the DFL side, we have John Haydern, who has just, pardon? Sean, sorry. I'm still learning and I don't look at my notes always. So Sean will be helping the DFL caucus with its research and prepping on background on issues as it becomes before the committee. And the primary GOP caucus has Stephen Rubis, who those of us who have served know has a broad and deep knowledge of property taxes. And I don't know that the new GOP caucus has that kind of staffing. Is that correct, Representative Droskowski? All right. Don't want to make assumptions. Our House research staff and our fiscal analysts have been working hard to put together the overview that we're going to start now just in a few minutes. And because there's so many of them and they deal with different topics, we thought that it might be easier for you to absorb their names and areas of responsibility if they introduce themselves as they're presenting. So that's that we decided to do. But to help you with that, in your packet, there is tax staff subject area responsibilities. And so it says how to contact each of these House researchers, what are the main areas within their responsibility to be the lead on. They're all, if you call the wrong person, they'll all be glad to refer you to whoever's the right person. But just so that's something that I think you'll find useful. The other thing that you should know is in your packet you have both a today file, which is the materials that we're going to be going over today, but also a save file. And the purpose of the save file is to hang on to references that you will think that might be useful in future meetings to have handy. Or if we have things that are going to carry over. Like today, we think we may not be able to get through the entire overview, and so we'll have you put that material into your save file so we don't have to reproduce it for the next committee hearing. And we're going to take questions as we go. There's a lot to absorb. Have confidence in yourself. If at first it seems a little overwhelming, and you can't quite lock it all in, soon enough it will. You'll just absorb it by osmosis and by working with it. And the materials that they've given you will always be a great reference. There's a fair amount of complexity in property taxes, but you have to realize that every single one of those aspects was put together by a former group of legislators because they wanted to address a particular policy issue. And so we're going to have to look at that and see whether we agree that these are all the priorities that need to move forward. And with that, I'm going to let our staff begin. Who's going to first present? Is it Alex or Kathy? Please introduce yourself. And remember to all the House research staff and fiscal analysts, when you start presenting, please introduce yourself and give us a little background about what you specialize in.
Good afternoon, Chair Loeffler. My name is Catherine Schill. I'm one of 2 fiscal analysts that do taxes. I'm assigned to the Property Tax Division along with my colleague Cynthia Templin, who is over in the audience here. And together we work as fiscal analysts doing the things of tracking revenues and expenditures related to taxes. And so we'll begin. In your packet you have several items, but there is one in particular that looks kind of like this that has the slides that we'll be going through. There are 2 documents called overview. One is a narrative, the other is the slides, and having the slide document will be helpful as we proceed. Many of you know, many of you don't, but in Minnesota, the governance of the property tax system is a shared responsibility between the state and local governments. While property taxes are a mainstay of local government finances, Minnesota's property tax system is highly centralized at the state level. State law, that's Minnesota Statutes 270C.85, controls a number of system features which will be discussed here today and in the committee throughout the year. there are several of us coming forward to provide you this bird's eye view highlight, and we'll go over a number of different things, including state and local taxes, major property tax relief programs, the state general levy, tax administration, and so forth. And so as each of us come forward, we will share with you our topics and as we proceed through the slides. Slide 2, if you take a look at state and local taxes, there we go, gives you a bird's eye overview. Combining all state and local taxes in Minnesota, in fiscal 2019, tax revenues are expected to reach over $36.4 billion. As shown by the pie chart on this slide, income taxes bring in the most revenue at $12.1 billion, or about 33% of the total. Next are property taxes at the level of $10 billion, or about 27%. Statewide sales taxes are third with $7.5 billion, or about 21%, and other taxes, including corporate franchise tax, gas tax, excise taxes, are at $6.2 billion, or about 17%. Of this $36.4 billion and change in tax collections, the split between state and local taxes is about $26.7 billion to $9.8 billion, or a ratio of 2.7 to 1. This is a 10-year comparison of the big three: income, sales, and property taxes. The bar graph gives a 10-year comparison, and it is based on fiscal years 2009, 2014, and 2019. Following the bars from left to right, it illustrates a strong revenue growth for each of these revenue resources over the decade. If you take a note of the $36.5 billion in state and local tax collections for fiscal 2019, these big three accounted for 81.2% of the overall total. In fiscal 2009, it was 83% of the total, and if you look even further back, and I have the data for this, in fiscal 2001, it was about 85% of the total. And so we're stepping back a little bit. Slide 4 is a review of fiscal resources that we'll be using for this committee. You have another handout in your packet that talks about revenue estimates, fiscal notes, local impact notes, and the tracking sheets. And we can go into further detail on that. Right now, I will just give you a snapshot of each of these tools that we use. First of all, revenue estimates. These are documents provided by the Minnesota Department of Revenue to provide analyses about how bill language would change the state tax collections or state expenditures for property tax relief programs. And so if you had a bill moving forward showing perhaps an increase in one of the aid programs, we would request a revenue estimate from the Department of Revenue. This is the main tool that we use for this committee, but we use other tools as well. In other divisions, when you have a fiscal impact, you're looking at a fiscal note that will give you the overall administrative cost impact to the state agency or the state budget. And these are provided currently in this fiscal year for Minnesota Management and Budget with the assistance from relevant state agencies. In the future, the Legislative Budget Office, if you have been tracking the creation and the progress of the Legislative Budget Office, next legislative session, they will have that responsibility. But right now, Management and Budget will continue as they have in the past in providing fiscal note analysis. A third tool we have, and it's used less often, is a local impact note. And this estimates the impact on local government when you have a fiscal impact proposed by a piece of legislation. to be able to use a local impact note, it requires a separate procedure that must go through either the chair of the tax committee or the chair of the Ways and Means Committee. But it's a longer process, and it takes longer to tap into our resources at the local level to garner the impact of such a piece of legislation. And then finally, we have a legislative budget tracking sheet. You have one of these in your folder, and I guarantee you the one in your folder is the most simplified version of this spreadsheet that you will see all this legislative session. And why is this important? This is important because all the budget items that are the jurisdiction of this committee, when they have a state impact, you will find it on this sheet. And the House Fiscal Analysis publishes a catalog that gives a thumbnail description and a short spending synopsis for each item on the spreadsheet. And that will be, it's in the process of being updated right now and be available in the next couple of weeks. I will now turn to my colleague, Ms. Hagler, for the property tax administration discussion.
Welcome to the committee, Ms. Hagler.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members. My name is Alex Hagler. I am the newest analyst up in House Research, where I just started in November, so I'm quite new, and this is my first hearing. My background is primarily in tax. I started at the Department of Revenue in the Property Tax Division back in 2015 and spent about 3 years there. And then I went on to the tax court and was the clerk to the 3 judges there for about a year, and now I'm here. So right now we're going to get kind of into a very basic overview. So for those of you who are very familiar with this, please just bear with us. And so now I'm going to discuss who does what in the property tax system. A lot of these are local officials, and so they all have very different roles. The first one is the county assessor, and that the county assessor is responsible for valuing all property and assigning a classification to the property. By statute, they're required every 5 years to go out and actually assess each property. Those are called quintiles. And that's when they go out, knock on your door, ask if they can come in and look at your property. Sometimes they get in, sometimes they don't. The county assessor also oversees any local assessors. Sometimes some cities will have assessors who actually do the assessing and then kind of report back to the county assessor. And they also send out the evaluation notice every spring. The county auditor is the person who is actually determining the tax capacity and tax base for each jurisdiction based on that jurisdiction's levy. And they will be calculating the tax on each parcel. They distribute the money that is collected to all of the local jurisdictions. And then they are also involved in the tax forfeiture process when a piece of land has been forfeited for non-payment of tax. Thank you. The county treasurer is also sometimes the same person as the county auditor. A lot of the times they just have an auditor-treasurer office. That person actually collects the money. So when you pay your property tax, that is the treasurer who is collecting it. They are responsible for sending out the property tax statement and truth and taxation notice. And they also collect the mortgage and deed registration tax. The county treasurer also, oh yeah, that's it. But usually they have other duties, but are non-tax related. The state is also a big player in the property tax world. The state actually assesses certain types of real and personal property, and that includes utility property, railroads, airline flight property, and pipelines. They also administer the solar and wind energy production tax. They are also responsible for the certification of all assessors, and they also provide training to other local officials, such as the auditors. Thank you. Nope, not the same one. They also conduct the sales ratio study, which is a study of sales prices relative to their assessed market values. They administer the deeds of the tax forfeited land and are generally responsible for all oversight of the property tax system. They provide advice to the counties, and when there's a really big issue or they see something come up multiple times, they'll issue guidance on how to handle it. The Property Tax Division also calculates local government aid and county program aid, and they collect the state general sales tax, state general tax that commercial properties pay, and some other properties. Okay.
Great. Representative Petersburg has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. Hagler, for bringing us up to speed on here. Before we get into property tax cycle, I just would like to just inquire about assessing values and so forth, because I do know that some of my constituents are concerned about what they would believe is unfair practices, or at least ununiform evaluations and determinations of processes. And are you aware, are there any kind of basic formulas or programs to help county assessors and others to develop land values? A couple of things I'm referring to would be things like undeveloped land versus developed land and so forth, because there seems to be a wide variance between counties. And I know we'll get into this more detail, but while you're here, are you aware of anything that helps to create a more uniform program?
Ms. Hagler.
Madam Chair and members, I'm not 100% sure. I believe that the department, when they give their general overview, they will put out guidance that all assessors should follow, and the department also has, I guess, kind of compliance officers around the state who help their assessors in their area with their valuations. And I also think they try to address some issues with the sales ratio study, but as far as anything specific, I'm not 100% sure.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll get into it further later.
Thank you, Representative Petersburg. We will have a lot of opportunity to discuss all of these topics in a little more detail as things come before us. You can continue.
Okay. So we're still on the players. So we're now talking about taxing authorities and districts. Authorities are all local jurisdictions that are able to levy, and that is the counties, the cities, school districts, and any special taxing districts that may be in the area. And then the district itself is the actual territory that the levy covers. The State Board of Appeal, or the Boards of Appeal and Equalization, are kind of ways in which the taxpayers are able to appeal their valuations and classification, and it usually starts at the local boards, which occur in June. And then lastly is the tax court, and they have statewide jurisdiction over all property tax appeals and commissioner of revenue orders. Okay, so getting into the cycle, the property tax system it spreads along a few different years, and one key word that I guess is kind of used is the taxes payable year versus the assessment year. And when you're talking about the taxes payable year, you're talking about the year in which the taxpayer is actually paying the taxes. And when you're talking about the assessment year, you're talking about the year in which the property is assessed, which is the year before the taxes payable year. So right now we're in January 2019, and for all taxpayers, they will receive a tax bill in March that will say how much tax they owe this year. That is based on an assessment that was done on January 2nd of 2018. In March, they received a valuation notice that says this is what your estimated market value is, and this is what your classification is. And then in June or July, they'll have an opportunity to appeal that at the local boards. In November of 2018, truth and taxation notices were sent out, which has a breakdown of the tax based on proposed levies at the time. And then in December, those levies were finalized, and that is what will appear on the March statement in 2019. So then you have your first half payment in May, your second half payment in either October or November. And then that's kind of it for what you're paying for this year. And then in 2020, the same thing happens all over again for your assessment as of a few weeks ago, January 2nd, 2019. So I did kind of just go over this a little bit, but this is just a little bit of a breakdown of the notices that are sent out. There's the valuation notice sent out from the county assessor that shows the estimated market value and classification of each parcel. It contains information of the local board meeting, and sometimes people use this to appeal their tax in tax court. The second notice that taxpayers will get is the Truth in Taxation Notice, which is based on proposed levies, and it is the proposed tax without any referendum information. So if there was a referendum during a local election, that information would not be on the Truth in Taxation Notice. And it also has a detail of when the county, city, and school district meetings are. And those are sent out in end of November or mid-end of November. Lastly is the property tax statement, which is the tax bill, and that's based on the final levies. It is an itemized accounting to each jurisdiction, so you'll see how much you're paying to the county, the city, and the school district, and any other special taxing district that your parcel is involved in. It'll have the due dates of your property. It'll have the due dates and also pay stubs, so you can mail in your payments. And sometimes counties give you the option to pay online, and so you'll see online payment information. It'll contain a penalty table, so you know if you pay your taxes late, you'll be assessed a penalty on that. And it also has information regarding the property tax refund. And I think that's it.
Great, thank you. And now we
From
have Jared Swanson from House Research. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. For the record, my name is Jared Swanson, and I'm an analyst with the House Research Department. With Ms. Hagler, I primarily work on property taxes, and for those of you who have been a part of this division in the past, you'll know Steve Hines and the modeling work that he used to do. So I've taken over a lot of Mr. Hines' responsibilities in that regard. So the first few slides that I'm going to cover this afternoon deal with how property taxes are calculated in Minnesota. Ms. Schill referenced another handout that is in your packet that's kind of a longer overview, a more detailed overview of some of the topics that we're talking about in these slides. On page 13 of that handout, there's a calculation for a hypothetical residential property of their property tax. And we're not going to walk through that example together, but there are a number of terms in bold on that page, and we're going to be talking about most of those in the next few slides. So that may be a helpful thing to reference as we go through the next few sections here. So at its most basic level, property taxes use the following calculation in order to determine the tax rate. So it's the levy divided by the base is equal to the tax rate, where the levy is how much the jurisdiction wants to collect in property taxes in a given year, and the tax base is the total of all of the property value within the jurisdiction. So any given property lies within a number of jurisdictions. If you think about your own home, for example, your home lies within a county. It also lies within a city or a township. Your home lies within a school district and could potentially lie within a number of special taxing districts. All of those local jurisdictions go through this calculation. So they all have their levy, they all calculate their base, and they all calculate a tax rate. So the ultimate property tax rate that you pay on your home is really just a sum of all of those individual tax rates that each jurisdiction calculated. One thing that makes Minnesota's property tax system unique, and it's typically one of the reasons cited for why we tend to have one of the more complex property tax systems in the country, is that we actually calculate our property taxes on two different bases. So we're going to cover both of those bases on the next two slides here, but know that some jurisdictions are actually doing this calculation twice on two different bases. So one property tax base that is used is known as the referendum market value tax base. This is generally used for voter-approved levies, which is why not all taxing jurisdictions will use this base in any given year. It's only if they have a referendum levy that uses this base in place. Not all property taxes, or not all property types pay taxes that are levied on this base. For example, agricultural properties and cabins are excluded from this tax base. But the calculation is the same as what we saw on the last slide. The levy divided by the base, which is the sum of all of the referendum market value within the jurisdiction, is equal to the tax rate. And the referendum market value for a property, for most property types, is simply the estimated market value of the property. So the value that the assessor assigns the property on that January 2nd date that Ms. Hagler referenced is, for most property types, the referendum market value. And then once all of those tax rates for a given property are totaled, that tax rate is multiplied by the referendum market value for a property to give you the actual property tax. The second property tax base, and what you can think of as sort of the primary property tax base in our system, is the net tax capacity tax base. In order to arrive at the net tax capacity of a given property, we have to make one additional calculation. So we take the market value that the assessor assigns to the property, and we multiply that value by the class rate for that given property type. We'll talk about class rates in the next couple slides here. Like I said, this is the primary tax base. All property types pay taxes that are levied on this base. And what this system of class rates allows us to do is sort of shift how the property taxes are distributed onto different property types. And we'll look at an example to see sort of the net effect of this system. But just like on the last base, we still have the same general formula where the jurisdictions take their levy, they divide it by the sum of all the net tax capacity within that jurisdiction to arrive at a rate. And when property taxes are actually calculated, it is the sum of all the tax rates for the jurisdictions in which a property falls, and that tax rate is multiplied by that property's net tax capacity to get their tax. I know I've covered a lot of information on these three slides. These are kind of the big three, so if anyone has any questions on the tax basis, I'll maybe just wait 1 second here. Okay, so this is a sort of a small portion of the class rates table, and this shows what the class rates are for the different property types. This does not cover all of the property types that we have in Minnesota. This is just kind of four of the major property types. And depending on the type of property and the value of the property, a different class rate is assigned. So if we look at 1A residential homestead property, for example, any homestead that's valued under $500,000 has a class rate of 1%. That means that 1% of that home's value is actually going to be used in the calculation of property taxes. But if we look at a commercial property that's valued at under $150,000, that has a class rate of 1.5%, meaning that 1.5% of that property's value is actually used in the calculation of property taxes. Some property types have a tier split, so once the value of a property reaches a certain level, it ends up paying a higher class rate on the remaining value of that property. One important note is that 2A agricultural homestead, that tier split, which you see on your table is $1.9 million, is something that changes from year to year. So this tier split is tied to the value of ag property in the state, and as ag property values increase, this tier can go higher, and as ag property values decrease, this tier split will move lower. Here are just a couple more examples from the class rate table. Again, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just a few more property types. 4A, 4BB, and 4B properties can be thought of as rental properties. So we have apartments, duplexes, and triplexes, single-unit rental homes, and they tend to have class rates around that 1 to 1.25 percent range. For C properties, you can think of those as cabins. They have a tier split as well and have a class rate of 1% for the lower tier and then 1.25% for any value above that mark. So to take a look at sort of the net effect of this class rate system on our property taxes, what you see on this slide is a hypothetical property tax calculation for 5 different property types. And I just want to stress that this is just a hypothetical example that puts all of these property types at the same value. So the assumption here is that all of these properties are worth $200,000. That may or may not be a realistic amount depending on the property type and where it's located. This is just a hypothetical example to show the effect of the class rate system. So a tax base that would treat all properties equally, sort of like our referendum market value tax base does, would tax 2 different properties that were valued at the same amount. It would tax them exactly the same. So it wouldn't matter what type of property it was. If they were both valued at $200,000, they would pay the same amount of property tax. But with a classified system like our net tax capacity base, the class rates allow for sort of shifting of the property taxes to different property types depending on the classification rate. So you can see in this example that the table provides the class rate, the gross property tax, the net property tax, and the effective tax rate for these hypothetical properties. Effective tax rate here is just the property tax as a percent of the market value of the property. And you can see that properties with lower class rates tend to end up with a lower effective tax rate, and classes of property with a higher class rate tend to end up with higher effective tax rates. There are a number of pieces that we'll cover later in this presentation that actually affect the ultimate property tax bill that a property pays, things like credits, aids, refunds. In this example, the net tax is not really important. It's really the effective tax rate that shows the effects of the class rate system.
Thank you. It shows how powerful those differences in the class rates are.
So the final slide in our overview of the calculation of property taxes takes a look at something called the Homestead market value exclusion. And what this does is it takes a portion of a residential homestead's value and excludes it from the calculation of property taxes. This only applies to the net tax capacity base, so it's just in that it's just for levies that are levied on net tax capacity. But you can see from the table that as a home's value increases to about $75,000, that excluded value increases. And then after that point, the benefit sort of starts to dial back and decrease and actually hits zero at just over $400,000. So if we look at an example here, a home that was assessed at $75,000 has a market value exclusion of $30,000. So that $75,000 home, after the exclusion, would be taxed as if it were worth $45,000. So some of the differences in effective tax rates not only come from the class rate system that we have, but this homestead market value exclusion is also a big factor in that. We do have a couple of other different exclusion programs in the state. This is sort of the primary one. It's the big one that really any residential homestead that's valued under just over $400,000 will get some exclusion.
And I think it's important to note that the homestead means the homeowner lives there. That's a term of art that we use here that distinguishes it from a rental home.
Yeah, yes. So as Chair Loeffler said, it's a homestead. There are certain criteria that the property owner has to meet in order to get these homestead benefits. It has to be their primary residence. It can't be their cabin or just a second home that they own and rent out. It has to be really their residence. So the next few slides are going to sort of zoom back out and provide another high-level look at property taxes in the state. And what this first chart shows is the statewide shares of market value and property tax by different property types. And this was for taxes payable in 2018. The dark bar that you see next to each property type represents that property type's percentage share of market value in the state. So what percent of all of the property in the state, you can see here that residential homesteads make up 48% of all the market value. And then the lighter colored bar represents the percent share of property taxes paid by that property type. So again, this is sort of, you can see the effects of the class rate system and the homestead market value exclusion here. Certain property types pay a lower percentage share of their taxes in comparison to their percent share of market value than other properties do, and then to compensate for that, other property types pay a higher percentage share of the property tax. You can imagine that if we had a property tax system that was completely unclassified and didn't treat any property types differently, these percentages would be the same within each property type. This next graph shows property tax by type of government, and this is for calendar year 2018. As Ms. Schill referenced, the property taxes collected in 2018 totaled just under $10 billion. The three largest types of government, and in terms of property tax collections, are counties, which collected about 31% of the property tax in the state, school districts, which collected about 28%, and cities, which, including TIF, collected about 26% of the property taxes. Towns and special taxing districts brought in much smaller percentage shares of the property tax. You'll also see a slice in this pie chart for the state property tax. We haven't covered that yet, but we'll be taking a look at that in a few more slides. Up until this point, we've only really been covering local property taxes. So that has about an 8% share in the total property tax collected as well.
I was talking to a member who's active in education finance, and they were totally shocked that it wasn't the school levies that were the largest levies. Instead, it's the counties. But I think they get more attention because we have the referendums oftentimes for school levies. And so they get more attention, but it is interesting to see how they're divided. Representative Brunbeck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to verify, you're saying that total property value in the state is $691 million. Is that right? So every bit of commercial and industrial, it's on this page here, page whatever, 17? So all properties, I mean, it just seems like a small number to me. I'm thinking about when you hear about, no?
Yeah, no, that.
Got that wrong?
Is it possible that, I don't have that page in front of me, but it's possible that number is maybe in millions or? So this page 17, is it showing, showing the same graph that's on the screen there?
It's in the narrative.
Oh, yeah, so.
Line.
I'll double check on that, but I think that number is in millions rather than million. So it's actually 691 billion.
That would make more sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But I can double check on that
All right.
and follow up with
Sure.
you as well.
Okay.
And
Great.
on a lot of these things, we're just, thank you for asking clarifying questions. We'll get used to using millions and billions, and we don't usually talk about numbers much smaller. But it is hard to kind of ramp it up statewide and make sure that you're staying on the same framework.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Oh, Representative Bernardi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I could just wait to see if it happens, but we won't do any analysis today to find out how much like the school district property tax falls on homeowner versus in different areas of the state. We're not going to do that today, right?
Mr. Swanson, I don't think we're getting to that level of
Gotcha.
detail quite yet, but that's
Okay.
that's down a lot, quite a ways.
Yes, Madam Chair and members, that is something that we can look at, and I believe it's something we will look at sometime in the first couple of weeks here. But with our property tax simulations, you'll be able to see a breakdown of some of these burdens that we're talking about on different property types and how those vary by geographic locations in the state as well.
Thank you. Please continue.
So the next slide contains a couple of tables here, and each year the Minnesota Center for Fiscal Excellence, along with the Lincoln Institute for Land Policy, produces something known as the 50 state property tax comparison study, and these are the results from the most recent study, which came out last spring, that take a look at property taxes payable in 2017. And what this report does is it compares the effective tax rates in the largest city in each state, as well as the effective tax rates with a rural city in each state, and then ranks them, one being the highest effective tax rate, and down from there. So you can see if you look at the top table says Minnesota ranking among urban cities. So the city that's used for Minnesota is Minneapolis. And among urban cities, we rank about middle of the pack for Homestead. So there are two different values of home properties there. They're ranked at 27th and 24th. The $1 million commercial property is ranked at 8. $1 million industrial property is 23rd, and the apartment building is ranked at 22nd. And then among rural cities, similar pattern you can see. We're about middle of the pack for homes, higher for the $1 million commercial property at 2nd, and then the $1 million industrial property is 11th, and the apartment is at 26th. And lastly, here's just a kind of a quick look at school district levies in Pay 18. So we've talked a little bit about different tax bases, and when I first mentioned the referendum market value tax base, I mentioned that it is primarily for voter-approved levies. This graph will show a couple of exceptions to that. So kind of the big takeaways here are the colors of this pie chart. So the darker colors represent voter-approved levies. So remember, these are just school district levies, and they make up about 48% of school district levies. And the lighter gray color represents board-approved levies, and this makes up about 52% of school district levies. And then layered on top of that, the cross-hatching that you see on the graph shows which levies are based on the referendum market value tax base. So while you can sort of generally think of the referendum market value tax bases as applying to voter-approved levies, it's not always the case. And I guess what's important to remember with that tax base is that there are some types of property that don't fall under referendum market value tax base, so they wouldn't pay any levy that's levied on that base. But not all of those levies are necessarily voter-approved. As you can see here, some of those are board-approved as well. And I'm going to now turn it back over to Ms. Schill, and she's going to talk a little bit about the state general tax.
Good afternoon once again. Slide 21 is the state general tax levy. This levy for calendar year 2019 is levied at $829 million. Now, many of you who have served on taxes before know that we did some pretty major changes with the 2017 Tax Act, so I'm going to step back for a moment and give you some backstory. The state general property tax on business, commercial, industrial, and seasonal residential recreation, that's resorts and cabins, was enacted in 2001 as a major property tax reform. At that time, the levy was set at $592 million. Each subsequent year through 2017, the amount of levy was adjusted by inflation factor, and in the last year, tax year 2017, it reached a height of $863 million. The 2017 Tax Act did two major changes for this levy. First, for commercial industrial property only, and for taxes payable in 2018 and beyond, the levy excluded the first $100,000 of market value. Second, beginning with taxes in 2018, the 2017 Tax Act also set each levy. So that bullet point on the slide, the third bullet point down, put an X through that because the apportionment factor, the 95 to 5%, isn't valid anymore. In law right now, each levy is set. For commercial industrial property, it's set at $784.59 million, and for seasonal rec, it's set for $44.9 million. And this in total generates just under the $825 million for the levy. The rate for taxable sales for taxes payable in 2019 is 42.4%, and I can give you the math statistics on that. And for seasonal recreational, it is just under 20%. And these tax rates were just certified December 31, 2018, so moving forward on that. And I'm sure we'll have more questions on the state general levy at a later time. The next slide, in fact, slides 22 and 23, give us another overview of major property tax relief programs. This is a quick summary. It's not meant to include everything, but you'll get the bulk of what we spend our property tax monies on. Of all tax aids and credit spending, the top 4 programs, local government aid, county program aid, and the property tax refund programs for homeowners and renters comprise $1.5 billion or 78% of the $1.94 billion in the fiscal 2019 budget. So running down the list, local government aid is at $534 million per year, county program aid $234 million. Referendum equalization aid, that's for school districts, $152 million. Also for school districts, the operating capital aid is $138 million. Local option revenue, $58 million. Agricultural market value credit at $38 million. PILT payments, that's payment in lieu of taxes at $38 million, and that goes to both counties and towns. And the debt service equalization aid for school districts at $25 million. Those all either go directly to some level of local government, so a county, a city, a school aid. Now, the property tax refunds go directly to individuals. And for homeowners, that amount in fiscal 19 is $440 million. And for renters, it is $231 million. And now we get to turn to Ms. Dalton, who'll give us more detail on some of these aids.
Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Pat Dalton. I am one of the House research people who's been around for a very long time. This is my 33rd session here. I do local government aids. I do levy estimation. I do town aids. I do the payments in lieu of taxes. And I also cover sales taxes both at the state level and the local level. So I may have a slightly different presentation style because mine is a little bit more ad hoc, having done this for 33 years. And many of you have heard me talk about LGA probably more than you ever wanted to hear anyone talk about LGA. City LGA program. It is, as Ms. Schill said, the largest general purpose aid program for the property tax system. Originally, when it started back in 1971, no, I wasn't here in 1971, but when it did, it was a program that actually gave aid to all local governments, and over time, it became just a city-only program. As you can see, since 2010, the number has fluctuated from the high 400s to essentially a little over 500 million. There's a couple of years in here that I would note that between 2009 and 2012, these numbers are actually lower than what was originally certified to the cities that they would receive. Aid is certified in September, and then it's paid in July and December of the following year. And between 2009 and 2012, as Representative Runbeck pointed out, she was serving in a period when there was a budget crisis. And so aids were cut after local governments had been told what they were going to get. The City LGA program is a program that gets reformed it used to get reformed almost every year. Since 1992, it gets reformed about every 10 years, which is much better for those of us who actually have to deal with the formula. The last formula reform was in 2013. What was unique about the 2013 is, like the formula reform that occurred in 1992, this was driven by the cities themselves. All the major city groups got together and worked on a formula that they could all agree on. One of the things, some of the goals that the cities had at the time when this new formula was adopted in 2013 was to keep the basic structure of aids, which give aids to city based on their need and ability to pay, but also to reduce some volatility that was occurring in the formula that was in place between 2003 and 2013, and also make it a little easier for cities to understand why they were going to get aid increases or decreases. Prior to 2013, a city's aid could go up not because the city had changed, but because other cities had changed relative to it. Now, the only way a city can lose money is if they are currently getting money that the formula says they no longer need. So basically, the new formula calculates aid increases based on the size of the gap between unmet need and current aid. And as I said, you can only lose aid if your current aid amount is greater than what the formula says is your unmet need minus your ability to pay. And we'll talk about how do you measure need. This is the main part of the formula that the cities actually have to work on every 10 years. And it's how do you measure city need. This is actually done statistically. It's been done statistically for the last 30 years. In this case, cities were divided into 3 groups, and then a statistical analysis was done on various city characteristics for each of the 3 groups. So why 3 groups? For one thing, we have a lot of cities in the state, and they range greatly in population size, from a population of 17 to Minneapolis, which is, I think, over 400,000 right now. Data for cities with really small population isn't very reliable. We get it from the American Community Survey Act, which masks data for very small areas, and so the data is a little bit more volatile. So it's not very good for the very small cities. Also, the types of services that cities need to provide change with city size. A city with a population of 100 is not providing the same services as the city of St. Paul. So different characteristics play into each of these formulas. So small cities, their formula is based strictly on population. In 2017, we added some sparsity measures to both the small city and medium city formula that basically says if you're really kind of a spread out community, you're going to get a little bit more money because, it costs a little more to provide services to a dispersed population rather than a concentrated population. Medium cities look at age of housing built before 1940, average household size, and population decline from their peak census estimate. This is a factor that actually plays into a lot of rural cities that built infrastructure and development at a time when they had a much larger population and then have seen that population decline. But unless you're maybe the city of Detroit, it's really hard to abandon infrastructure. So you're constantly having to maintain that infrastructure even if you don't have the population for it. And then large cities uses percent of housing built before 1940, also percent of housing built between 1940 and 1970, amount of jobs per capita, and as I said, they already had a population sparsity measure. This factor actually only affects one city in the Iron Range. And I always forget if it's Hibbing or Virginia, but I think it's Hibbing. But the city is actually larger than Ramsey County. So, and one of the reasons it's so big is because it has a number of mines that are sitting right dead center in the city. And so they have to serve population around it. So that's how they get to need measures per capita for cities. The ability to pay measure is a measure that has been around at least since 1991. And we basically say it is your city tax base or your city net tax capacity, to use the phrase that Mr. Swanson used, multiplied by the average city tax rate. So if you can meet your need with an average city tax rate, then you get no aid. As I said, the formula basically provides for how we distribute increases in money. Any appropriation increase plus any amount that's lost by cities that no longer need some aid that they used to get is distributed to cities based on how far away their current aid level is from their unmet need amount, need minus ability to pay. So for instance, if a city has 80% of its unmet need already met with what they're currently getting in LGA, they're going to get a very small per capita increase. If they're 50%, their current aid is only paying 50%, then they will get a much larger increase on a per capita basis. I'm going to point out right now that this slide has an error. Town LGA was not eliminated in 1992. It was eliminated in 2002. As I said, originally in 1971, LGA went to every type of local government, counties, cities, school districts, towns, special taxing districts. Payments to school districts and special taxing districts went away pretty quickly. County aid went away, county LGA went away in 1991, but was replaced with another county aid program, which is now called County Program Aid. It was called some slightly different things back in 1991. And then town LGA was eliminated in 2002. At the time, town LGA was simply a flat per capita amount. I believe it was $9 per capita, provided a town levied at least at a certain rate. The new formula is the amount distributed is $10 million a year. That's roughly $10 per capita for all the population that sits in townships. That compares roughly to $100 per capita for city LGA on average, give you a relative size. The aid is based on the product of how much ag property is in the town, the total acres of the town, and the square root of the town population. Basically, the more truly rural and agricultural a township is, the more money they get under this program. This program essentially goes primarily to townships in the counties on the western and southwestern sides of the state, and there are actually 3 counties that get no aid under this program. 2 of them, Koochiching and Lake of the Woods, don't get any township aid because there are no organized townships. And unorganized townships, or what are called unorganized territories, do not qualify for this aid. And the 3rd county where none of this aid is paid is Hennepin County because it no longer has any townships.
I think since we're almost at 2:15, this might be a good break point for us. And so, but I would encourage you to put the slides and the overview and the resource materials here in your save part of the formula for when we continue 2 weeks from now. Next week is Martin Luther King Day, a holiday. And so we'll continue this afterwards. If you want to take this and study it at your leisure to really sink it in, feel free to just bring it back or we'll have some extra copies as well. But I want to thank the staff for working so hard to give us a big overview of a big topic so effectively. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.